Hey there, roadies! Welcome back to another episode of Cooking Across Cultures on the Road. If you're new here, my name is Tyra Hawkins, and this is a vlog that we do where we feature different restaurants in the Sioux Falls area. Today we are at Swamp Daddy's Cajun Kitchen with Inkka and Kenny, and they're going to tell us a little bit about the restaurant and the dishes that we have in front of us today. So can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role here at Swamp Daddy's?
Yes, my name is Chef Kenny, the head chef here at Swamp Daddy's. I've been here for over 2 years now.
Okay.
Going on my third.
All right.
And I am Inkka Beaudion, chef and owner of Swamp Daddy's. And yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about the dishes that you prepared and what the process was in making these?
My current dish right here is a short rib melt for our soup and sandwich for the week. We got some toasted bread. We melted some cheese onto the bread, some blackberry jam. Then, on the flat top, we cooked the short rib and some pickled onions on it.
And what I made is one of my favorite dishes with a little extra loving today for the video. This is the pastelaya, and a pastelaya is the same flavors of what you would look at when you get jambalaya, And in the dish there is all the proteins. We've got chicken, andouille sausage, crawfish, shrimp, and Cajun cream sauce. It's topped with some blackened shrimp, cornbread crumbles, and a little bit of green onion. So yeah, it's one of my favorite dishes to eat here at the Swamp.
It smells and sounds amazing, so I am ready to dig
Let's
in.
dig in, of course. Tyra, since you're the guest, you can serve yourself up first. Normally this is one serving,
Oh, really?
but for the sake here, we're gonna share today.
Yeah.
And I'll cut up the sandwich.
Inkka, can you tell us how long has Swamp Daddy's been open in Sioux Falls and kind of what inspired you to open the restaurant?
Of course. So I originally started out as doing catering, and got a food truck and had the food truck for 3 years. And I'm still serving because, listen, I'm hungry, so I'm planning on eating.
I'm over
okay?
here with this little thing.
I know. You can be modest if you want to, but I'm not. And so yeah, I had the food truck for 3 years, and was approached by the owner of this building to come look at this space. And we were in a smaller spot. It was just under 600 square feet. And we were in the spot just down the hall here for a little over 3 years, or about 3 years. And then we moved into this space, which we added, expanded the dining, and also added the bar, which is kind of located behind us. And we're in our second year right now. And so we've been around for a little while, which is it's been a gradual growth process for us. And so it's been a lot of fun. Each stage of the business has been a learning opportunity for sure.
Why did you name the restaurant Swamp Daddy's?
And not Swamp Mamas. People ask me that all the time. Like, why you didn't name it Swamp Mamas? It just didn't roll off the tongue right for me. But I wanted people, whenever they would say the name of the restaurant, they would know immediately what they're getting, and be able to identify, especially being from Louisiana, in South Dakota, living here. I wanted to bring something different, not just through the cuisine, the whole concept of it. So from the name on all the way up to the dishes and the atmosphere, the vibe that a customer will experience. And so there is people, swamp daddies. I don't know. We had a few names that we were considering, but swamp daddy just kind of rolled off a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I always said that Julian would be, he's a swamp daddy. And then I'm the swamp mama behind scenes. So
I love that. Kenny, do you have any prior experience, or did you have any prior experience before becoming a chef at Swamp Daddies?
Yeah, I went to culinary school out in Mitchell for a while.
Okay.
I've got various other experiences here in Sioux Falls.
Okay. What is like your favorite type of food to cook?
Ironically, when I was first starting out cooking, about like 11, 12 years old, jambalaya, but I made it a little bit differently than probably I would have made it here. But it's probably what, I guess you can say, like, what led me to being here.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Cool.
I remember whenever you came, Kenny, and you had he had his portfolio and presented it with all the dishes that he had made in culinary school. And I thought it was kind of tailored to Swamp Daddies because that's where he was applying, but those were the dishes that he was making. And there was, a lot of Louisiana, Cajun, Creole themed dishes in his portfolio, which was kind of cool. So
That's so interesting. Have you ever been to New Orleans before?
No, I've just always loved Cajun food.
Okay.
I've always been a fan of spice. I've always been around not just like the Cajun food, but like just a bunch of different African cuisine,
Yeah.
spices and everything.
You have to get to New Orleans. They have Swamp Daddies is good, but New Orleans has some amazing food just in general.
It's on the bucket list.
it really is. I tell him that all the time. Like, you got to get down there to visit because it's the vibe is different. The food is different. I mean, because I'm from Central Louisiana, and Central Louisiana is different than South Louisiana, and so I told him I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say too. Oh, he does a lot of fusion. And so that's I know that we've talked about like some of his dreams and aspirations of what he would like to do in the future. And which sometimes he brings that to some of the specials and stuff that we have here. So
That's so cool. There's actually a restaurant in Minneapolis, and I cannot remember the name of it, but I think I told you about it once. They do like a Creole fusion with another, I think it's like Latin American, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But they had a lot of like your traditional like New Orleans style food, but with like a different flair. And I thought that was so interesting. I guess when I think of food, I don't necessarily think of how you can combine flavors from different places, but even Jamie from Roots of Brazil was telling us how like he has collard greens and black eyed peas and things like that. He kind of mixed soul food and Brazilian food together to kind of get his ingredients too. So I always kind of find that really interesting.
yeah, I think it allows us as chefs to be able to think outside the box and get creative. Because sometimes the food can be a little bit redundant, and having that opportunity to be able to be creative, come up with new things. I think there's been a few chef competitions here in Sioux Falls where the theme was fusion, and you picked your cuisine, in your place, and made dishes from there. So it's kind of cool.
I always think about, so I grew up watching the Food Network, and that's kind of where this whole idea for this vlog kind of came from, is just my love for food. But I always remember thinking like, man, how do they know, especially when you watch the cooking competitions where they give them random ingredients and they have to kind of like put them together. And I always wondered, like, how would they know that this ingredient would resemble this thing or would taste like this? And it's almost like food is a science. But I always find it really interesting when people, like you said, confuse flavors and things like that. Just because it is such like again, I like to eat food, but I don't think I would know if I'm in the kitchen, like these two things would go together or they would resemble this particular taste or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about what Swamp Daddies means to the community, because aside from the restaurant and kind of the originality that it holds, you also do a lot in the community in regards to like the events you host here and even being involved in like Juneteenth and things like that. So can you talk a little bit about like what having Swamp Daddies in Sioux Falls has meant to you and to the community?
Yes. I would say one of the things that I love is I have created and worked hard to build a platform to be able to use to be able to give back. I know there was once upon a time where I didn't have the opportunities that I have now, and I felt like I wanted to give more. And so being able to have a restaurant where, like just coming up here this week, we have a Thanksgiving feed that we're doing, where we're calling it our Friendsgiving. And so we're giving a free Thanksgiving meal to whoever shows up. And we're hoping that we're going to be so busy, we're not going to know what to do with ourselves with the community just showing up. And so I think it's important as a small business owner, as someone who cares about the community, to be able to give back in more ways than one. And so I feel like that helps build community and gives us an opportunity to be connected with people, not necessarily just through, customers coming in and supporting your business, but also being able to give back and whether that is giving out free meals, like the Vibe event that we have here at Swamp Daddies, where we have people come in and just have a conversation, creating that platform. I think it's just important, like, why not? We have the tools, we have the accessibility right here to be able to do more.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like I'd be wasting it if I didn't take that opportunity to share it.
Yeah, that's huge. And I know I've told you this before, but I know for me personally, moving to Sioux Falls from Tennessee, not knowing anybody here except my supervisor and the people I work with, it was really important for me to get involved with a lot of the things that y'all were doing. And it really made me feel like I had family and people that I could relate to. Like I said, especially not knowing anybody here. So just really having that space where I could be myself. I could talk about things that, are important to me that maybe others may not necessarily understand, and just different things like that has been really, I guess, influential in me even continuing to be here, which I hate to say that, but it is hard moving somewhere and not knowing anybody, but to be able to like have that space where you do kind of get the opportunity to talk to people really does kind of, give you a sense of belonging.
I 100% agree with you. Being from Louisiana and moving up here where we had no family. My husband boyfriend at the time had his mom and brothers, but you almost have to create your own family, and family isn't always blood. And so I tell my employees that, our customers that support us, like, we've had the opportunity to create our own family. And I think that's important, because you're right. It's being a transplant, it can be rough. These winters are long, it's cold, dark sometimes, and it's easy to get lost into that sunken place necessarily. And so being able to create different things and be a part of different organizations. I know my husband and I do a lot in Sioux Falls, but being able to create those opportunities where we can connect with people is what's kept us here all these years. Because we've been here now almost 17 years, and so, or a little over 17. And so because of the community that we've been building, that's what's been able to keep us here. It's been hard though, guys. It's been hard. So I can relate. Because it's been hard.
That's amazing. Kenny, are you from Sioux Falls or?
I'm from T.
Okay.
So not too far.
So you've been here your whole life?
Yeah, I've been here.
How has that been for you?
It's ups and downs, but childhood's here. I've always loved downtown Sioux Falls. I've moved down here twice. I was drawn to being down here, and now I can be down here every day.
Yeah. If you could go anywhere, particularly to kind of like hone on your craft a little bit more, where would you go?
Oh man, I will have a long list of those. I would really like to go to Vietnam or Japan.
Okay.
Not just for, they have some fancy restaurants out there, but I really want to get into like the street food life and see like how, not just eat all their food, but learn how they do all the things they do.
Okay. Did you explain like why those places?
I've been watching this show called The Best Ever Food Review Show. And the guy travels all around the world and really brings to light how other cuisines around the world are. And that's why I say I got a long list, because he like shows everything around the world that now I want to go to. So I need to settle and pick one, or not two.
You could go all over.
Yeah. Possibilities are endless.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Inkka?
I would love to go to Italy. I love Italian food. I mean, my favorite dish that I made is a pasta dish. But I love pasta. And I just want to go and experience the culture. I love wine. I think it'll be fun just to kind of experience that. One of my daughter's godmother is from Italy.
Oh, really?
And so I had an opportunity, and she made everything from scratch. We would always go to her house and eat. And being able to hang out with her and make pasta from scratch and learn all the different things from the traditional dishes that they would eat in Italy. It was I just fell in love with it. So yeah.
Well, when you go, take me with you.
You got it, girl. Girls trip. I will say I have appreciated the process that I've been through as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. I did not go to culinary school like Kenny, and so I've had an opportunity to learn from him since he's joined our team, joined our family. And I think it's something that I try to make sure and focus on, like, yes, my name is on the lease, and I own the business, but I'm not above anybody. Making sure that I am always learning, and just kind of let my team contribute to, specials and stuff like that. Because I know I try not to necessarily forget where the dream, where it was just a dream or an idea, and look at how far I've come, and constantly reflecting on that. And I've had the opportunity to talk to some people about, any dreams or aspirations that they may have, specifically in the being a restaurant owner, or even a food truck. And just to let people know, like, it is great to have experience. And I would also say that I would struggle with, like, oh, I don't have a culinary degree, so I'm not a chef, or I don't have this, and kind of knock myself short. But just to let people know, like, your life experiences and whatever that profession may be counts. And to not necessarily sell yourself short, because I have done that multiple times. But I just want to say that the amount of relationships that I've built, from the catering to setting up at Festival of Cultures with the food truck, going to Food Truck Fridays at the bakery, to, over there by the source, to now where we are. The amount of people that I've met, the relationships that I've built, the amount of people that have touched our lives, it's just been unforgettable, and something that I will ultimately cherish forever. And that's what continues to fuel me to be able to go, because it's not always easy. It is definitely challenging. But those relationships, building community, meeting people like you, and having people join our team, like Kenny, that's what fuels it. That's what I chalk up, like, the stress is worth it.
Sometimes.
Some days I'm like, God.
Sometimes.
But it's worth it in the end. And so, if whoever's watching this, I would say, like, don't give up on yourself. Take a chance. And it's not always going to be easy, but just know that it's going to be worth it.
That was really good, Inkka. It sounds like cooking is a passion for you, or even building community through food. How did you discover that was something that you like to do?
Honestly, growing up, like, back home, from Louisiana, that's how, like, if you go anywhere in the South, everybody's gonna try to feed you, whether you go. And that's what I love when we go back home. We know we're gonna eat real good because we go to this auntie house, this auntie, and they're not really your auntie, but they're your auntie, you know. And so everybody's gonna feed you, and that's like a way of connecting with people is through food, and that's something that culturally it's built into me. And also being able to be in the kitchen with my dad and cooking in the kitchen, creating dishes, and just having fun in the kitchen is something that I really resonated with. And so although I did not start off my professional career in the culinary industry, I was actually in finance, banking, but I knew that that was not my passion. And so creating Swamp Daddies has been able to allow me to connect with people through food. Because again, like I say, when we moved up here, you know, it was a new place. I hadn't really traveled outside of Louisiana much. Moved to a place where I didn't know anybody, had no friends, and it's with my boyfriend. And so, girl, I don't know what I was thinking. And neither did my mama. But my dad was like, you know what, you're young. You know, if it doesn't work out, you can always move back home. And so the amount of community building that I've been doing, and to be intentional, because I'm a people person. I love to interact with people. I'm definitely an extrovert by all means. And you know this.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I do. I just love people. And one way that I can marry those two things that I love, you know, food and people. And we have Swamp Daddies.
Absolutely. What about you, Kenny? Like, I know you said you went to culinary school, but what was kind of like your journey to culinary school?
Probably my grandma. Parents would ship me off for a summer so they wouldn't have to deal with me. Go to grandma's house. We would bake cookies, make whatever from scratch for lunch or supper. Other than that, you know, she taught me how to paint and draw and everything. So I've always been into the arts of any sort.
Yeah.
But then later on, you know, just at home, I taught myself more and more how to cook. And like I said, you know, found out what kind of cuisine I like the most, you know, so on and so forth. Different restaurants, some better than others, but I really like where I'm at right now.
Okay, well, good. I like that. I want to do something that I think we said we're gonna call it like traffic jam because our show is called Cooking Across Cultures on the Road. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to kind of answer as fast as you can.
We got this. We got this.
That might be.
They're going to be about you, so it shouldn't be too hard, but I do know sometimes, you know, with someone, look, I told you I'm not the Fed, so I'm not trying to, like, do anything crazy, but I know sometimes when people ask you something, like, it's like, oh, if you wouldn't have asked me, I could have guessed, but, so let's start really simple. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Coffee.
Okay. What's your favorite song right now?
Stairway to Heaven by Dolly Parton.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's my jam right now.
Listen, I ain't mad at it. Wasn't expecting it, but I ain't mad at it.
She just dropped a new album. Right?
Okay. That's so funny you say that. Mine would be, and you will put me on a spot, and I can sing it for you.
Yes, we love it. Come on, let's hear it.
me. It's a song. I get it from my mama. I love fly.
Okay.
It's a good, yeah. Anyway.
Hey, oh my mama. I thought you was gonna sing it.
No. This is why I stick to cooking and not singing.
Okay.
But yes.
So On My Mama by
On My Mama.
Victoria Monet.
Yes,
We like
yes,
that.
Yes.
Do y'all like to read? Are you reading any books right now?
Yeah.
No? Yes? No? Yes? Okay.
I am reading rereading actually the Inheritance series, Aragon.
Who? What is it?
Aragon, Eldest, the Inheritance series.
Is that about dragons?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've heard of that.
It's pretty good.
I think I've heard of that. What about you, Inkka?
Oh, I'm honestly not like
Reading right now.
I have books on my nightstand that I should be reading.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be honest with you, I have been having a hard time committing rather the time to read.
Same.
So it is difficult. But yeah, no.
I have a whole stack of books like this, and
Yep.
I just ordered 3 more books last
Mm-hmm.
week.
Yep.
I am a collector of books. I have not been a reader of books probably since grad school. But I'm working on it.
Yep.
I'm working on it. Binge-worthy TV. What are you watching right now? Favorite TV show? Or favorite thing to watch?
I don't watch a whole lot of TV.
Really? Okay. What about you, Inkka?
I do. See, the reason why I don't read books is because
You watch a lot of TV.
I don't watch a lot of TV, but see, I watch TV like late at night whenever I'm just trying to like wind myself down, and that I don't read a book because I'm like start to get sleepy, and I'm like I forgot what I read. But the TV show that I've been watching, I just finished Insecure.
Yes!
So
that is my show!
yes, it was so good. It was so good, and I felt bad for a while because people would be like, "Have you seen Insecure?" And I'm like, "No, my bad." And so I finally finished it. It was really good.
We gotta talk about that show.
We
That
do.
is my show.
Listen, we do because Molly, I don't.
Really?
Oh goodness. But one show that we're kind of watching right now is kind of captivating a little bit is Black Mirror.
Yes, I've
So-
seen Black Mirror too. Not every episode. I think there's like
Because each episode is different.
yes, I think it's like 3 episodes that I haven't watched out of the whole series. But
Yeah.
yes, I referenced the Striking Vipers episode the other day with the 2 guys that play the video game.
Yeah.
Another story for another day. But anyway, I guess I'm interested to know about the paintings that you have around.
Yes. So, this was maybe about 5 years ago. I had a gentleman come into the restaurant looking for a job, and he was very persistent. He had just gotten out of jail, and he was on the search for work. And so basically, he told me, he was like, "I'm gonna work here." And through the interview, and I was like, "Okay." And so I was doing some more interviews, and then he actually showed up like the next week. I think it was like a Thursday, and he showed up like on Tuesday, like ready to work. Like, "Can you create my login so I can clock in?" And so, needless to say, I hired him because I appreciated his persistence, and he was committed, and so he was a dishwasher. He had no cooking experience, nothing necessarily working in the restaurant industry. He just wanted to work. And so we started, as I was getting to know him, he told me about how he loves to paint and how he's had a lot of time growing up, painting and expressing himself through art. And so he brought in some pieces. And so the piece behind you, and it's also on the wall up there.
Oh yeah.
That is one of the original pieces that he painted. He did all of these outside of the one with the 2 jazz players right there. He did all the paintings. He did the jazz players here on the column. Also did the gentleman over there on the wall. And so his name is Kelly. Kelly Kales is what we call him. And so he is extremely talented. He does not necessarily, what we have in the restaurant is particular to Swamp Daddies and to me. And so he was being intentional on painting those pieces, but he has held art galleries where he's done Native American art. He's done just all kinds of stuff. He taught kids how to paint different things, and so it is really, he's extremely talented.
Yeah, I
And
see
so
that.
a lot of customers actually come in and they want to purchase the pieces, and I'm like,
Really?
"You can't have that one, but I can give you his information and he can paint you a duplicate." So
Yeah.
he's gotten some business from that. So
Oh, that's good.
and when we moved over to this space, I knew that I wanted that because that's one of the first pieces that he painted, and I wanted that to be blown up because It's really, I mean, he's
Yeah.
talented. He's absolutely talented.
The art in here is really nice.
Mhm.
And it seems like you have a like knack for allowing people to kind of explore
Mhm.
their passions while they're working at Swamp Daddy's, which is
Mhm.
like amazing.
I know if the shoe was on the other foot, I would want somebody to do that for me. You
Yeah.
know, and so that's what I love to tell my employees. Like, if you got something you want to create, you know, just let me know. Like,
Mhm.
I have a whole kitchen. You know, like I told Kenny whenever he was first joining us, like, you want to do the thing, do the thing. You know, like, this is your oyster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I know, like I said, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would want somebody to give me that opportunity, so that I can express myself. And
Yeah.
so that's what I try to do here.
That's great. I love that. Okay, cool. Well, thank you all so much for having us here today. I really enjoyed my time. I love learning a little bit more about Swamp Daddies and what it is that you do here. I encourage everybody, if you're ever in the Sioux Falls area, to come to Swamp Daddies in the Jones Building. I'm sure they would love to have you. And if you are ever in the area on the first and third Thursdays of the month, there's also the Vibe, where you can come and have conversations with other people. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Cooking Across Cultures. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.